So I had been, I think, this drive in me also, could be negative when because I definitely, thrive off of adrenaline. I am one of those like introverts, extroverts where I need my downtime, but I also at the same time get energy from people. So I can't, be completely isolated, but I can't be continually with that adrenaline. But I was letting that happen. And I got into, digital sales management and I really enjoyed it. And I just came up with this philosophy for myself, which was I can outwork anybody, right? Because it was a very competitive environment. When I first started to do that work for the next company that I was at, which I was in Virginia Beach originally doing this, I wound up, the sales leader there, the director of sales, said that when I left to be with the company, but in Florida, because my husband took another job here in this area, he said to me, "You were the MVP of the team of the year because I took their digital sales and confidence from nothing to this extreme, and then I helped them in another market, Richmond, that my boss had, oversaw. So I went in there and helped them get things going. So I started to live off this adrenaline, and then going into Miami to do this was a much bigger market, more salespeople. Many of the salespeople were more aggressive. It's just a different type of, lifestyle attitude, where they're from. And yeah, I can handle that because I was from the Northeast and it's similar to that. But at the same time, it's really crazy on adrenaline. So over time, all the success I had to keep it up. I had to keep it up. I had to keep it up. I
Pressure,
had to keep it
pressure,
up.
pressure. Yeah.
Yes, I was, I'd be at work till late and then I'd have to drive home, 45 minutes or plus, depending on traffic. I'd get home, I'd have, dinner with my husband, watch a little bit of TV, and then it was like, oh, I got to pull the laptop back out, got to start doing proposals, need to do research, need to do this, need to do that. This was like over a period of over 3 years. I mean, I'd go to bed at midnight, 2 a.m. I'd get up a few hours later. I'd work out to get myself pumped up to the day, get to the office early. I thought I was it, right? I was just like this, I gotta keep this up. I gotta keep this up. And I didn't set boundaries for myself. And one day my body put a stop to it. And in fact, prior to, us getting on this call, we talked about, our bodies shutting down. I started to have some of those shutdowns where I just couldn't get out of bed, but didn't listen. Like, okay, that's me. So I'll rest it up. I'll get back out of bed, jump up. Well, as the company, like many companies, started to downsize, it even got more difficult because now I'm losing resources, increased responsibility, and I'm still trying to keep this up to the point where I literally started breaking out. And I had these, it sounds gross. I talk about it in the talk. It was a very vulnerable thing to bring up, but I had these like pus-filled warts that were on my neck, my back, my shoulders, down part of my arms. And it was like I couldn't get rid of it no matter what I did. I, eventually went to a dermatologist. I went to a doctor, and I was scratching it all the time too, because it was just that nervous kind of, yeah. And anyway, I wound up taking another job that was actually equally as stressful because people at this next company had heard what I did over there. And instead of me saying, no, I need to stick with this company,
Can I
maybe,
just stop you there? Why did you
yeah.
move jobs? What, to another company? Was it more money again? Was it more?
It was more
Yeah,
money
yeah.
and
It
it
was
was to
all.
start their
Yeah,
department.
yeah,
Yeah. They
yeah.
said, you've been so
Oh, so
successful. We
now
see the
again, it's like
success.
I've been headhunted, and it's like this
Yes.
whole yeah.
Right,
Look
this
at
worked,
me.
right? Look what it's
Yeah.
getting me. But I'm, broken out all over the place and, stressed out. And every morning I started to get up and I don't know, have you ever heard of Abraham Hicks?
Yes.
Yes. I started listening to a lot of their stuff and got back into some motivational stuff, started to journal, got up early instead of going to the gym, I just go out and take a jog or a walk because I needed this to find myself again. So lo and behold, this job comes up. I decide to take it, and it's equally, if not in some ways, more
Worse.
crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And
worse.
that is, can I just stop you there? Because often
Yes.
we get that sort of choice. We sit and we think, right, I know, you're listening to Abraham Hicks, you're doing
Yeah.
journaling, you're starting to go on that journey where spirit is saying to you, can we please nurture and look after you and take you down here? And you're going, yes, oh. And the behavior, the pattern, the validation, the X was also fighting. It's like, where do I go? Where do I go? And you
And
ended
that's
up
it, the
going back
validation
there.
too.
Yes,
That's how I
yeah,
work, right? I
yeah,
love the validation. It keeps
yes.
the adrenaline pumping
Yeah,
for me.
yeah,
Yes.
the energy,
Yeah.
you couldn't live without it. I mean,
Right.
a lot of people at this stage in life, often it's alcohol, there's drugs involved, all sorts of things. I mean, I don't, you can tell us if you want, but a lot of people, it might not just be the hard drugs, but it could be the idea of sort of over stimulating yourself in some
Yeah.
way with sort of caffeine type things. You know, I know people
Yeah.
that drink Red Bull by the gallon just to
Right,
keep
right.
I mean, that is a drug in itself, really, if you think
It
about it.
is. It is. Yeah, I didn't go that route. I think that I'm very much into health and fitness, have been for a really long time. So I took the opposite approach, which was to listen to these things, to journal, to try to stay healthier. Although I did, start eating worse and, that kind of thing because it's
Do
just what sort of
yeah,
what happens,
yeah,
right?
yeah,
You have to, if it's not a drug, if it's not alcohol, there's something that you're gonna to grab onto.
yeah,
Yeah, so I let my, diet go, which did help with the breaking out and, getting my body back in check. My hormones were quite frankly just all over the place.
yeah.
So when I got to my next company and this was starting to happen again, and I had cleared up at this point. I had scars all over, but it finally cleared up. And I had to, say to myself, you can't let yourself go down this path again. Well, at this point, AI started to become something. And I started to, I'm always very intrigued about what's out there. I learned this during my MBA when I got to my MBA and I started to take these classes and just realize how much was out there outside of your everyday work environment and the same type of people you wind up dealing with, every day over and over again. I saw there's this whole other world out there. And I said, I'm always going to continue to be curious. And so that was great. So I got very curious about, AI.